like it was yesterday. I remember you, your husband, at the time, I think you guys were about to get married, I believe. But
No,
just
we got married. We'd been married for a couple months.
okay, you had just got married, right? I knew you were like honeymoon or something. But it's amazing that it's been 20 years. Like, oh my God. So thank you so much for that introduction. I mean, I'll tell you what, every time I'm on this Monday call, I'm so energized. First, I get a chance to hear everyone down there from coast to coast and all the energy that everyone brings. And then you giving me this tremendous introduction. And as I think back, and now here we are today, working in this incredible company, you not only became someone who is a business partner, but a dear friend, truly family, and just instrumental in the day-to-day success of our company. And when I met you that day, I'm sure you felt the same. We had no idea that's where our relationship would go. But thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. You're so humble. One of our Emerald directors on her way to Diamond, and also our VP of Finance, just wearing so many hats. But again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for waking up with Akana this morning. Happy Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We always want to start this call with our mission. We believe health, wealth, freedom, and legacy are our birthright. By offering the most life-changing products and an innovative business, we empower people to elevate to their full potential. And remember, the meaning of Akana is in the hands of God. I'm going to start off by just sharing some upcoming events. Since some are right around the corner, I also have a special flash announcement. So you want to make sure you stay tuned for that update in a moment. But upcoming this Saturday, October the 4th, it's our monthly Super Saturday. Remember, the first Saturday of every month, unless there's a holiday weekend, we actually are kicking off a Super Saturday at our brand new event space right here in Bronzeville at the 405. So 405 East 35th Street. Distributors, your entry is just $5, and all guests are free for this event. So this is really the perfect opportunity for you to pack the house with everyone you know. And don't forget, mark your calendar for the big weekend, which is happening October 31st, November 1st, November 2nd. In fact, we're having not only the Battle of the Blood Types, but this is our Ruby Round Table Weekend. It's going to be so powerful. If you're participating, perhaps you are a part of, whether it's the blood type O, B, AB, or A, you actually might be working with a group right now and working on your strategy. I know I've heard the O's, they've been meeting with great job. That's how you do it, right? You lead by example. So amazing job, guys. But the bottom line is, if you are participating in the battle itself, the event is actually free for you, but every other participant for that particular weekend, whether they're distributors or guests, there's a $10 entry fee, because at this event, we actually have some chefs that's preparing blood type foods. So it's going to be fun because we're going to have a chance to sample some amazing food. We're going to have a chance to sample all of our amazing products. And so this is going to be so powerful. And because it is Halloween on the 31st, we're going to have a little theme, a little Halloween theme around this Saturday Battle of the Blood Type. It's going to be so powerful, competitive, and transformational. I also, too, want to just step back for a moment and celebrate for what happened this weekend. We had 2 events in our new space, okay? Now, technically, the 4th is our first official event where it's probably semi-done by the 4th. By, of course, when you guys get here on the 1st or the 31st, it's going to be fully done. We have our first actual big event booked from someone on October the 11th, but we kind of just did something this weekend that was kind of an impromptu. And so we ended up having to kind of quickly scramble and get this space as ready as possible, okay? And I just want to give a shout out, okay? Because teamwork makes the dream work. And I have 4 people I'm going to shout out to, and that is Willie Booney, Shawana Thomas, Anthony Morris, and Tracy Bolton, okay? I'm telling you what, without them 4, I don't think what we did this weekend would have happened, okay? I mean, they literally came through when we were in a clutch to help get it done. And I'm telling you what, it was absolutely amazing to have our very first event in this new space How exciting. And that just means we're making progress, y'all. Okay. And then upstairs, we had another spa party. So to say we were booked and busy this weekend was truly an understatement. So can't wait to fill you guys in on more details when you actually come on October the 4th. We're going to give you some more details about the event space and how it actually can work for you building your business, or maybe you want to do something with your family and friends. And so we're super excited because we're just extending the headquarters, right? Extending it to really include some other phenomenal activities. And I know that's going to help us to build our Akana business big. When you think about hotel meeting space and the prices right now, I mean, literally we can go down the street and their hotel space, we're talking thousands of dollars, okay? And so for us to be able to do something at our own facility, it's just a game changer. So super excited about that. And again, thank you for everyone who helped make this weekend possible. And also too, let's go ahead and jump to the very exciting announcement. We're actually doing something special to really help each and every one of you who are right there at your CV to close the month out strong. Now remember, we had a 90-day run, okay? September, October, and November. Now, some of you are running hard, and I'm going to give a shout out to some of our diamonds because we see you out there pushing. Well, I wanted to give you just some kind of nugget, okay, to help you close this month strong. For those of you who might be a couple $100 away from CV, you don't want to lose sight of closing down your CV as you're working towards your 90-day run. You know, setting the tone and hitting that CV is critical for you to really build that momentum that you need for November. And so what we're going to do over the next 2 days, so this is just simply to help you close September strong. You won't have this apply starting October the 1st, but when you purchase at least $150 in product, you're going to get a chance to receive a bottle of your favorite CBD oil. So if you love the Hemp MD, guess what? That's automatically going to be included, but let's say you want to substitute it with a hempranium or maybe a pure hempranium, we can make that substitution. If we don't hear from you, automatically when you purchase that, you're going to receive a free bottle of Hemp MD, okay? So make sure you reach out to your customers, get those orders, follow up. This is a great way for people to stock up, strengthen your volume and to really close this month out and hit that CV so I can shout your name next week, okay? Now let's get into just some fun things I want to talk about. And one of them is really mindset. As we think about this day, right? And we think about every day, we have to get in the mindset of what I call winning the morning. Have you ever been working on a project and you just notice sometimes the day just gets away? It's really about how you start your day. See, your day, how you start it, is going to set the tone for how you finish it. And I want to just give you kudos, first of all, for getting up and getting on the call. I mean, that's a great way to set the tone. But beyond that, when you get off the call, there's got to be this winning mindset that really says, hey, winning the morning means winning the day. And when we win enough days, guess what? We're going to win the season. In fact, there's a quote from Jim Rohn that I love. He says, either you run the day or the day runs you. Have you found yourself having days that are running you? Okay. And so we want to get a grasp on our days, okay? And that requires us to really win those mornings, right? In fact, for me, we've had so many different things going on. To get my morning just really owned, I got to be here at the corporate headquarters, and that's why I'm already here. I've been here literally since 6 o'clock this morning, working on projects, right? But we really have to make a decision to start our mornings with discipline, right? With vision and with energy, because that's how championship teams are built. That's how champions are built. It's built by you first owning your day, okay? And so let's kind of talk about something that can help you own your day, because a lot of times in businesses like this, sometimes it's just hard to get focused, right? You got a lot of stuff going on. You got your job, you got your family. So how do we make priorities? And so for me, one of the things I learned, early on in network marketing, when I first had my real success, someone told me, Melissa, you really have to understand why you're doing this business. There's a power in why you're doing it. And I want to just go deeper because a lot of times people say, well, I'm doing the business because I need to pay some bills, right? I need to make some money. Well, that's cool. But guess what? That's not enough. You got to go deeper. See, a lot of times, you think you're doing the business because, oh, I want this new car. Maybe you want to go out and buy your dream home. But it has to be deeper than that because here's the reality. We know that in a business like this, you're going to hear the word no a lot, right? And when people don't support you and your goal is just to make more money or maybe to buy a new car, all of a sudden the car you're driving becomes good enough, right? You just decide, oh, it's not worth that. It's not worth making those phone calls. It's not worth, getting rejection. And so what I've learned, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but in this type of business, your why must be so strong, it could make you cry. It literally has to put you down on your knees because it's such a compelling reason why you're doing this business. Because again, business can be tough. Sometimes there's long nights, there's so many disappointments, and there's moments, and guess what? Quitting sometimes seems easier than pushing through, like just giving up. And think about how many people started this business, and guess what? They gave up. But see, when you have a clear, compelling why, when it's strong, it's going to anchor you through all of those storms. And again, many of you already know my story, but I know there are new distributors joining us. And so I want to share this because this might resonate with someone who might not have really understood the power of developing your why. So when I first started in this industry, I was a single mom, and I'll never forget my son, being actually at the time, he was 9 years old. And I never really took network marketing, I guess, that serious because I was kind of in and out, dibbling and dabbling. But one time when I was away on business, and this was with corporate America, so I was working my job, but I had to fly out of the country, and I was in Costa Rica. Well, my son at the time was 9 years old, and he called me up. We were talking when I was there in Costa Rica, and he said, Mom, you want to know something? He says, he was thinking back on his life when he was 5 years old. He says, you know what? I have no memories of you when I was 5 years old. He can remember grandma, he can remember my mom, but he could not remember me. And I thought about that at the time because my heart literally crushed. I mean, it broke my heart. It put me in tears. But the bottom line is I was so busy trying to make sure that I gave my son the best life because I grew up in the projects, right? I remember just always struggling. My mom was working at the comic book and I was out even as a young kid, selling candy and popcorn to make money, okay? And at the end of the day, I was told, hey, guess what? Go to school, get a great education, and go out and climb your way to the top in corporate America. And that's what I did. I worked hard, sometimes 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And guess what? My child was literally growing up oftentimes without me because of the fact that I was working so hard to give him the best neighborhood, to put him in the best schools, to give him the best clothes. But guess what? Kids want more than anything. They want our time, okay? And I remember when that phone call happened, I was trapped because I didn't know what I could do. Like, what do? I just quit my job? But it broke my heart. But at that moment, I knew that something had to change. But I wasn't in a position in that moment to make something change, okay? But I remember when I finally had a chance to move back to Atlanta because I had got promoted with this job. They promoted me to New Jersey, just a lot of traveling. And so when I moved back to Atlanta, someone actually invited me over to a meeting that I thought was more supporting a traditional business. They said, hey, my husband's opening this computer business. Can you come and support us? And I'm like, sure. Well, guess what? It was network marketing. It was network marketing. And I was so hungry for change. It was so kind of funny because I was actually sitting in the living room of, one of my friends who invited me over, one of my neighbors. And I was so eager to join whatever it was they were selling. I was sold. But do you know, they literally just kind of overlooked me because they were more interested in this other guy that was there. but he had no interest in the business, none. And here I am, like waving my hand, like, sign me up. I'm ready. Okay. I finally had to ask them, well, how do I get signed up? And then finally they said, well, there's a process you go through on the computer. So I remember at the time, it was like dial up. I think it was AOL. Okay. I went to their second floor, signed myself up. Okay. And I went on in that business to become the star agent. And that couple made a lot of money off me. Okay. But guess what? That's because I was highly motivated, because I wanted to ensure that I could figure out how I could be there for my son. And I knew that corporate America wasn't cutting it. And so I became highly motivated inside of network marketing. And I started pushing and pushing. And guess what? I ended up retiring when I was just 33 years old from corporate America. So I completely left the rat race. But that's because my why was so compelling. Every time I thought about that conversation with my son, it motivated me to go out there, to make calls, to do parties, to go build my business. And so I'm going to ask you, what is your why? Okay, what is your why? Because I wanted to give my child my present. I wanted to be there with him, not a present, but being present, okay? Not just a paycheck. And I remember when I finally retired, the life we built, traveling, repairing our relationship. When I look at the man he is today, okay, a father of two, he's married, 33, just so responsible, such a good man. But I know a lot of that had to do with because I had to make a tough decision. I had to get out of being such an introvert because for many of you who know me, I'm a little bit shy, okay? But I couldn't allow that to make me spend my life in corporate America. So I had to find a different path. And so what is your why? What's driving you? Why are you in a con? What's keeping you up at night? Okay. What drives you forward? What's the vision that brings tears to your eyes and fire to your heart? Because here's the truth. When your why is intact, how to build this business will always work itself out because you're going to be so motivated. It's almost like becoming, I call it ignorance on fire, right? You're so excited about changing your life, doing something different. You're going to just figure it out. And the reality is we've given you a lot of the how. You get on the calls, you're listening, you're hearing this approach and that approach. So it's not so much that you need to know how to build it because there's several ways you've already learned. But the question is, why are you not building it the way you know you could build it? And I believe it's because you have to put that fire, right? That fire under you. And that fire is your why. Your why will fire your business up, okay? It will get you moving. It will lead you to diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, okay? And so hopefully many of you will go out there, really refine that why and start using that as fuel and motivation every single day you get up. And so speaking of getting up, we have an exciting lineup, not just today, but for this week. I know to this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Central, we can all save our strand. So make sure you invite someone to listen in on that phenomenal webinar and Zoom. Of course, Tuesday through Friday, we have our Diamond Factory call, and that happens at 8 a.m. Central on this same number. And also, too, our full body reset, we've actually enhanced it. We have exciting new topics every single Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. So if you have ever qualified to get on that line, you want to make sure you get on that line. In fact, on Tuesday, we're going to talk about how your smartphone and your laptop might be aging you and how the 360 lifestyle can actually help reverse that, right? Because many people don't realize, we're getting bombarded with all these different EMFs, and it's actually causing not just external aging, but also internal aging. So how would you like to reverse that? We're going to talk about that on Tuesday. Can't wait for you to dial in. And then I know Dr. Betty, she's worked on a phenomenal lineup for Thursday. And then on Saturday, this Saturday at 4 p.m., following our Super Saturday, we're going to have a full body reset call that's open to the entire public. So they don't have to have registered for the program. It's going to be open to everyone. So make sure you join our normal call, which is our $1 billion big one. So the normal meetings that you join, all of our Zooms, that's the one the full body reset will be on. So make sure you tune into that. And so with that being said, now that we've covered that in closing, we begin September with this focus on a 90-day run. Family, guess what? We're going to really close out this month strong. I've given you the tools to do that by spending that $150 and getting that free tincture, hint MD, unless you specify. So let's just stay locked in. Let's stay focused. Let's step into October with momentum, okay? And I want to now shout out to our diamonds for setting the pace. So great job, Willie Mooney, continuing to show up, show out, just getting it done, personally recruiting. His team is on fire. Terry Anderson, I tell you what, she is truly our vending queen, but we're seeing a lot of momentum with her team as well. And then Bernadine, again, always leading by example. She's traveling way over to Boston, Massachusetts, working with her team, and they're out there showing up and showing out. So great job to the Boston team. And then, of course, Gigi Harris just got back from actually a vacation, but she's on fire, and she's going to be joining us in November as well at the Battle of the Blood Type. So let's get grounded in our why. Let's go out and win the day. Let's go win the month. Let's go win the season, because we know that the Icona 2025 vision is clear. Health, wealth, freedom, and legacy for every life we touch. We're moving forward, and we are not looking back. I will see you at the top, the very top, the tip top.